my name's Dan, welcome back to The Forge. In this episode of Trust Me, I'm a Blacksmith, we are going to be forging this hammer here by hand, and I'm going to tell you how to do it. If this is your first hammer, or you've already made a couple of hammers and you want some pointers, you want to start learning how to perfect that technique and get some good looking hammers, some really nice hammers like this one here, I'm going to show you some of my secrets, tips, tricks, do's and do nots in how to make this hammer. If you are a subscriber to the channel, you will have also seen the reforging of a store-bought hammer. This is one I did recently. Now, if you'd like to see me do that by hand, you can find out how you can make me do it by watching the video and doing what I say to do at the end. See you in a bit. In order to make a hammer like this one, what we need to do is get some starting stock. This is a 4140. It's from Recycled Forklift Truck Tine. I sell these on my Etsy. There's a link to my Etsy in the description. If you want to buy these in bulk, it's probably best to contact me directly. I can get custom shipping and I can give you a bit of a discount on these. You're also going to need some equipment to mark up where you're going to punch your hole. Something to mark where you're going to punch your hole, center punch. You're going to need to get yourself a hammer eye drift and a hammer eye punch. Now these two can be combined and turned into one tool. I've seen that done, and there's variations on the punch. But basically you need these to make a hammer. And after your basic forging tools, you might want to find yourself a slightly larger hammer. This makes driving the drift in and also punching the hole a little bit easier. And some sort of medium for grinding. This is a 4.5 inch angle grinder, and we're going to need a collection of discs. Okay, our stock is 40 by 40 by 100 mil in length, which is 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches by 4 inches long. I'm going to mark about 1.5 inches from one end, or 40 mil from one end, and then I'm going to go around with a square and mark all four sides. And then I'm going to find the center on two parallel sides, so two opposite sides. I'm going to find the center, and then I'm going to mark that up. And I like to use square because I find it easier to mark up, and also I find it easier to punch. Just put that center line in there. Then I'm going to take the punch tool that I'm going to punch with, and I'm going to use that to mark either side of the punch. It's going to give me two little lines, and then I'll mark that off with a center dot. And I should be able to find it when it's hot like this. Okay, first things first, I'm just going to find my center dot marks. I'm going to take my time here, take my punch, and just mark both sides. Just have a look, make sure it's in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to take my metal, I'm going to start punching this hole. I'm going to punch one side, I'm going to rotate it. Rotate the block 180 degrees. Punch the other side, I'm going to actually physically rotate the whole block. And again, I'm going to rotate it. And then keep rinsing and repeating this, keeping my punch nice and cool. Until I punch a hole all the way through. And this will do two things. Keep the material warm, because the anvil acts like a heat sink, and if there are any discrepancies or faults in the tooling or the way that I'm holding it, they'll be taken out as well. It's good practice to drive the hammer eye punch through a couple of times after you've punched a hole. Keep this cool as well, as it saves the end of your drift and just helps you get the drift started basically. This way, with very little effort, the drift passes through and doesn't get hot. So we're not expecting it to do more than it needs to. Okay, if you can get a pair of tongs to hold your work, I would definitely use a pair of tongs. I might also come in with a round inside of the hammer. And I'm coming in at an angle, so I'm holding the work at an angle and swinging in at an angle. And I'm starting to bring this back side into a taper. I'm going to take the sides off, and just, all I'm looking to do is just keep everything in line. And then I'm going to come with a flatter hammer and I'm going to start flattening that out a little bit. And basically working up towards the eye. Now normally I would say leave this until after you'd finished dressing the eye, but because I know that the taper is going to hit the eye, just readjust those tongs a bit, because I know the taper is going to come back and interfere with the eye and cause deformation, I've decided that it's probably better to get it done now and then be able to correct the eye later on. All I'm going to do now, just exactly the same thing, but a bit lighter on the forging face or the flat face of the hammer. We'll start with the corners, and do a side each. This is just going to give it a bit of leeway when it comes to upsetting those faces back in. Okay, so I run my hammer eye punch through the hole again. I'm just going to now run the drift through. Might go in at a bit of an angle, it's not a big issue just yet. But what I'm going to do is get this drift all the way in and seated so it touches all the way round. And then on this first heat, round side of the hammer, I'm going to start forging those cheeks in. And then I'm just going to turn that back up again. Then I'm going to come to faces. I'm just going to start knocking some of these corners in where they started to friction it from the earlier process. And yeah, that should come off. Yeah, so I'm going to do the opposite side now. Where I started creating the cheeks, I don't want to lose those cheeks that I started to develop. So what I need to do is make sure that when I run the drift in, that I either bolster this, so I put something underneath to stop the drifts from being damaged, or find something that the cheeks will hang into so they're not going to get damaged as well. It's now a case of rinsing and repeating. Okay, so I've gone and got the pulled the cheeks out and I started working on the pin again. Just rolling my rounding hammer back and catching it in between the bick and the work. Now, if like me, you've got a few problems with your cheeks where one side's slightly different thickness to the other than the other, don't worry about it, we'll be able to sort that out later on the grind. Okay, smaller hammer, just going to bring it up onto the edge of the anvil, and where I've been upsetting material back, it's rounded that side off a little bit, so all I'm going to do, just bring it up to the anvil and initially bring that side in, and then I'm going to roll it over up onto its corners and just work back. Yeah, this is the real reason I've using a small hammer. I want to be able to get this looking nice and tidy, and I've got a bit more control when it comes to walking it back there. to the eye. So we're starting to get something that's looking a bit like a hammer. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just spend a bit of time just tidying this up with a hand hammer, and then we can start looking at doing a bit of a grind on it. Okay, so there you have it. This is the basic rough forging. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take it to the grinder, and I'm basically going to spend a little bit of time just going over and tidying up some of the areas that need to look good. So I'm going to just put a nice curve in here where the peen is, and I'm going to dress that face. And then I'm just going to tidy up the top of the cheeks so that they're a bit more even and consistent. The eye potentially wasn't in the best position, so I've got one side of the cheeks is slightly thicker than the other, but it's not a problem. I'm just going to talk about grinding, and then we'll go and do this. I'm going to be using a 4.5-inch grinder for this project, and I'll be using initially one of these hard stones to do most of the work, because it'll cut through the scale. A lot of discs, a lot of the flat discs struggle to get through the scale, and then I'm going to move on to a 40 grit flap, an 80 grit flap, and then a 120. And when I've got to this point, I'll show you what I've done, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do next. Okay, just using a stone, and then I moved on to the 40 grit. I decided that I just wanted to blend in some of the areas that looked a bit messy, get rid of some real big hammer marks and straighten everything up. And then I decided that I'd cut the face off. It was looking a bit beaten up from the upsetting, and it looked a bit long as well, the hammer. So I thought I'd cut that off. Okay, so the hammer's looking pretty good, but there's a few little things that I just want to quickly correct and make some modifications to before I go through and do any more grinding on this. The first one is I just want to squeeze this peen out just a touch more. I feel like it could be a little bit longer, and I also just want to readdress some of the surfaces on the face, because I don't mind that it's rectangular, but I don't want it to taper in quite like it does, and I don't want to grind anymore, because if I grind too much out of this, I'm just going to lose loads of weight, and I don't want to do that. And I think that the eye could be slightly better on this side as well. So what I'm going to do, I just simply run the drift through, and I'm going to pull that peen out just a little bit, run the drift through, and just have a little bit of a tidy up all round of the hammer, basically. Okay, I'm going to leave the video there, and the reasons I'm going to do that is because I'd like to go into a bit of detail about doing the finishing and also the heat treating and the handling processes, which I will do videos on their own, I think. I'll do the final grind and the heat treating in the next one, and then I'll do the handling as a separate video as well. I've already done this video, I've already made one of these, so this is the second one I've made. And hopefully this one was better than that one, because that one, oh, what a sprawling mess. Okay, I'm going to raffle one of these hammers off when it's finished. I'm going to keep one of them because I need a cross peen in the workshop. I don't have one, and I want a fairly wide one. I've got a little straight peen, but I don't have a cross peen. So I'm going to keep one, and I'm going to raffle the other one off. But I've got another cross peen, which I will introduce in the next video where we do the finishing and the heat treating. And I'll also give that one away as part of the raffle as well. So first place for the raffle will be one of these hammers. Second place will be the hammer that I've already made, that I made in a video, but I haven't had a chance to do anything with yet. It's just sitting around, might as well give it away. And then third place will be a t-shirt and a key ring, I think. Sod it, let's do 4 places. I'll also just do a key ring on 4th place and a load of stickers for people as well. Okay, how do you get your hands on a raffle ticket? Well, it's very simple. All you have to do is go over to my Etsy, where you can buy a ticket. Now, tickets will be £4 each plus taxes. Now, I'm not sure what it's different all over the place, but they're about £4. But there's another way you can get your hands on a raffle ticket, and that's by purchasing something off the Etsy as well. And for every item you buy, you will get a single raffle ticket. I'm happy to ship the hammer anywhere on the planet for about £20. Now, if it's more than 20 quid, and I don't think there's very many places that's going to cost more than £20 to ship this hammer to. However, if it does cost more money, I'll email you, I'll let you know, and then you'll just have to cover the difference. If you're not happy to do that, I will pass the prize on to the next winner, and then I will choose a new runner-up until I get the items sent. And at the beginning of the video, I mentioned the reforge or the repurposing of a store-bought hammer. And I would like to do another version of this hammer. This is the hammer that I reforged not so long ago. But I'd like to do it by hand. I'd like to do a fabricated version, and I'd also like to do a forged version. Now, if you're interested in seeing me do this, you need to do something for me. As soon as this video gets 700 likes, I will start doing a reforge video. I will buy the hammer, I will do the reforge, and I'll show you how to do it. I'll do a fabricated version and a hand forged version. So you at home can go and buy one of these hammers, modify it ever so slightly, and do yourself a nice job of making a hammer that's a bit better than some sort of store-bought lumpy bumpy hammer. If you did enjoy this video, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you are a subscriber, please ring that bell for notifications. It tells you every time I make a video. I make videos about twice a week. And it's going really well. You guys seem to be really enjoying the content. The channel is growing really well. I'm really enjoying doing what I'm doing, and thank you for all your support. If you'd like to support me in some other ways, a great way to do that is to either go and check out the Instagram, and an even better way is maybe buy something off the Etsy. The link to the Etsy and the Instagram are in the description below. If you go and check those out, just go and have a bit of a peruse of my shop. Go and check out some of the cool stuff that's on the Instagram. It shows you some of the things I make, some of the videos I make, and I try and post stories from time to time. We're very busy at the minute, and I find it quite a bit of struggle to get some stories out at the minute and even post on Instagram. However, videos are the thing that I like doing, and I really enjoy making these videos for you guys and girls at home to watch, and hopefully you're enjoying them as well. And another thing you can do is share this video. Share or comment as well is another great way to help out. So drop a comment down below, tell me what you thought of this video, let me know if you're enjoying it so far, and also ask me some questions about hammer making. I'm going to try and do a live or some sort of Q&A video very soon, and if you drop some comments down below, hopefully I can add some of those into the content. I made a video recently where we forged an item with a claw hammer, and that was very exciting, and that was based on a comment. Okay, I'm gonna leave the video there. Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. I will leave a link up here to a video that YouTube thinks is best for you. This here is a link to a video that I was recently posted. This here is a video that I've chosen, and that's a subscribe button. Thank you so much for joining me, and remember, go grab a raffle ticket.